Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling drained, anxious, or small, and you couldn't quite explain why? It's like your energy was stolen in silence, piece by piece, without a single obvious insult. That feeling isn't just in your head. It's the emotional residue toxic people leave behind. And the worst part? It's invisible to everyone else. You smile through it, you stay quiet, you carry the weight alone. But deep down, your heart knows something's not right. You're not weak, you're not overreacting, you're not too sensitive. You're dealing with someone who chips away at your peace while pretending to care. That kind of quiet damage is real. And it's more dangerous than most people realize. Toxic people don't always show up with chaos. Sometimes they come with charm, with soft voices, with smiles that disarm your guard. But their presence leaves you doubting yourself, questioning your worth, and second-guessing your choices. It doesn't matter if it's a partner, a family member, a coworker, or a friend. Toxic energy wears many faces, but the effect is always the same. You feel smaller, you feel stuck, and worst of all, you begin to feel responsible for how they treat you. But here's the truth you need to hold on to: you are not the problem, and you're not powerless. Recognizing toxicity is the first step in rising above it. Once you can name what's happening, you can change how you respond. You can stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You can stop justifying their behavior because of how long you've known them or how much you love them. You can finally begin to choose yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of survival. Because your peace, your energy, your confidence, they are not optional. They are your foundation. And without them, everything else in your life suffers. There is a smarter way to deal with toxic people. It doesn't always require confrontation or conflict. It begins with clarity, with courage, with boundaries that no longer bend to keep the peace that never existed. And that's what this message is about. Not just protecting yourself, but rising into a version of yourself that no longer tolerates emotional pollution in any form. Because when you stop making space for people who drain you, you make space for people who fuel you. That's the emotional reward waiting for you on the other side of awareness. Not just freedom from pain, but the joy of peace. Real peace. So stay with this. Every second you give to this message is an act of reclaiming your strength. You've been giving too much of yourself for too long. Now it's time to take it back. Piece by piece, word by word, choice by choice. This isn't just about toxic people. It's about the new standard you set for your life. No more silent suffering. No more walking on eggshells. It's your time to protect your peace, rise in your power, and finally become someone who doesn't just survive toxic energy, but rises above it. When someone shows you consistent patterns of manipulation, disrespect, or emotional chaos, it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to protect yourself. Too often we get caught in the trap of asking, why are they like this? But the better question is, why am I still allowing this in my life? Understanding toxic behavior is not about excusing it. It's about freeing yourself from the illusion that if you just love harder, stay longer, or explain better, things will change. They won't. Because toxic people don't want resolution, they want control. And the longer you stay tangled in their chaos, the more you lose sight of your own truth. Toxic behavior is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it shows up as a compliment that cuts, a joke that stings, a pattern of being ignored when it matters most. It's the subtle erosion of your self-worth, and over time it changes you. You begin to question your reactions, minimize your pain, and silence your voice just to avoid conflict. That's how toxicity works. It makes you betray yourself slowly, until you don't recognize who you've become. But no matter how deep that damage runs, you can choose something different. You can stop participating in your own harm. You can reclaim your power by understanding one truth: what you allow will continue. This is where the shift begins, not by changing them, but by changing how you see yourself. You are not someone who exists to absorb emotional abuse, walk on eggshells, or keep the peace at the cost of your soul. You are not responsible for someone else's brokenness, and you don't owe anyone access to your life just because they're familiar. Respect is not earned through time. It's earned through behavior. And if someone refuses to treat you with dignity, your silence will not teach them. Your boundaries will. There's a kind of courage that doesn't scream. It whispers in your mind when you finally say, "I've had enough." That quiet decision is the loudest declaration of self-love you can make. And you don't need anyone's permission to stand up for your peace. You don't need to justify your healing. You don't need to wait for things to get worse. If something is draining you, confusing you, making you question your worth, it's already enough. Let that be your sign. Let that be your turning point. Because the moment you stop accepting less, the world starts offering more. When you raise your standards, the people who can't meet them fall away, and that's not loss, that's clarity. You deserve relationships that nourish, not deplete, conversations that build, not break, energy that feels like peace, not pressure. You deserve a life where you don't have to fight for the bare minimum. That life begins the moment you believe you're worth more. And you are. So much more. You don't rise by reacting. You rise by deciding. Toxic people thrive on reaction. They feed off your confusion, your explanations, your attempts to defend yourself. The more you engage, the more power you hand over. But silence isn't weakness. It's control. When you stop giving your energy to every insult, every guilt trip, every subtle dig, you reclaim your strength in the most powerful way. Emotional discipline is not about holding it in. It's about knowing when to let go. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone who has already chosen to misunderstand it. You don't need to keep explaining your pain to someone who caused it. Walking away is not failure. It's freedom. Your peace is not a negotiation. It is a standard. And when you begin to treat it that way, you'll start to notice something powerful. Your life changes. Not because the toxic people change, but because you no longer give them space to shape your reality. You begin to see clearly. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to hear your own voice again, the one you buried under their noise. That clarity is not accidental. It's earned through boundaries, through choice, through courage. And yes, it takes strength. It takes discipline to not respond when they try to trigger you. It takes maturity to not match their chaos. But every time you choose peace over reaction, you win. Sometimes the most revolutionary act of self-love is distance, not out of hate, but out of necessity. There's a reason you feel exhausted around them. There's a reason your chest tightens when their name appears on your phone. Your body knows before your mind accepts it. That tension, that fatigue, that emotional drain, it's all a signal. And if you keep ignoring it, your soul will eventually shut down to protect itself. You were never meant to live in survival mode. You were meant to thrive, to breathe, to be calm, to be seen and heard without fear. That's not too much to ask. That's the bare minimum you deserve. Letting go is not about bitterness. It's about choosing your future over your past. It's about choosing growth over familiarity, even if it hurts, even if they don't understand, even if they label you the villain for finally choosing yourself. That's not your burden to carry. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them go. Because your energy is sacred. Your time is sacred, your mind is sacred, and anyone who doesn't treat them that way doesn't deserve access. This is your wake-up call, not to fight harder, but to stop fighting at all for a place you were never valued. This is where you rise, quietly, boldly, without explanation. You don't owe anyone your peace, but you owe it to yourself to protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Peace is not the reward, it is the requirement. And it starts with one brave decision. I will no longer let chaos live in me. You are not difficult for having boundaries. You are not cold for protecting your energy. You are not selfish for choosing peace over people who repeatedly bring you pain. Somewhere along the way, you were made to believe that tolerance was strength, that enduring mistreatment was a sign of compassion. But strength isn't how much you can take. It's how clearly you can see when enough is enough. You don't have to absorb dysfunction just to keep others comfortable. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to make choices that prioritize your mental and emotional health without apology. When you stop tolerating disrespect in the name of love, everything changes. The noise gets quieter. Your confidence begins to rebuild. You no longer carry guilt for what isn't yours. That shift is powerful because it means you've stopped waiting for someone else to change and started reclaiming your responsibility to yourself. No one is coming to rescue you from the effects of a toxic relationship. That healing is your job. And while that truth may feel heavy, it's also your greatest freedom. Because you're no longer powerless. You don't have to stay trapped in patterns that leave you feeling small. You don't have to keep playing roles that keep you invisible. You can break free, without drama, without hate, without needing permission. There is nothing noble about sacrificing your well-being for someone who doesn't even notice. That's not love. That's abandonment of yourself. The longer you hold space for people who mistreat you, the more you train your nervous system to accept pain as normal. That is not your destiny. That is not your purpose. Your nervous system deserves peace. Your heart deserves protection. And your mind deserves stillness. You were not created to be someone's emotional punching bag. You were not built to survive constant confusion. You were meant to live in alignment with your truth, your standards, your values. The moment you start honoring your boundaries, you begin to reintroduce yourself to yourself. You start remembering who you were before the noise, before the gaslighting, before the guilt. That version of you still exists, strong, aware, whole, not perfect, but grounded in self-respect. And you don't need anyone to validate that version of you. You just need to believe in them enough to protect them. Every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what builds you. That's not weakness. That's power in its purest form. Let this be your turning point. Not the moment you finally changed them, but the moment you finally chose you. Fully, unapologetically, permanently. You don't owe anyone access to your peace, your joy, or your energy. That is something they earn through respect. And if they can't, you have every right to remove yourself. Quietly, powerfully, without guilt. Because your healing is not optional, it is essential. And it begins with one unshakable truth. You are worth protecting. Even from those closest to you. When you finally choose yourself, you'll notice something strange. Peace feels unfamiliar at first. You may question it. You may doubt if you've made the right decision. That's not because you've done something wrong. It's because chaos was your normal. When you're used to walking on emotional eggshells, stillness feels like silence. When your identity was built around fixing, pleasing, and shrinking, choosing calm can feel like loss. But it's not loss. It's realignment. You're not missing something, you're releasing something that was never yours to carry. That discomfort is not a sign to go back, it's a sign that you're healing. Growth always begins with resistance. And peace, real peace, comes after you've made the hard choices that honor your worth. Your healing won't be loud. It won't be seen by everyone, but you'll feel it in how you sleep better, in how you breathe deeper, in how you stop rehearsing fake conversations in your head. You'll feel it in your silence, the kind that isn't empty but full of strength, because now you're no longer stuck in cycles of trying to prove, fix, or earn your place. You've remembered that your place was never meant to be begged for, it was meant to be respected. And the moment you stop tolerating less, you begin attracting more. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because your standard did. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks, and not everyone deserves a key. Being kind doesn't mean being available. Being loving doesn't mean being used. There's a deep, powerful difference between compassion and self-abandonment. One builds you, the other breaks you, and every time you confuse the two, you invite people into your life who don't know how to treat you. But the moment you start showing people how to treat you by how you treat yourself, everything shifts. You begin to speak with clarity. You begin to walk with confidence. You begin to show up not to earn space, but to take your rightful place. That's not arrogance. That's healing in motion. You are not here to carry toxic cycles forward. You are here to break them, to stop the dysfunction, to disrupt the narrative, to choose differently. It doesn't matter who doesn't understand. It doesn't matter who questions your distance. You don't owe explanations to people who refuse to understand your pain. You owe accountability to yourself, to stop returning to what hurt you just because it's familiar. You're not obligated to shrink to be accepted. You're not responsible for maintaining connections that cost you your peace. Let your silence be your strength. Let your distance be your declaration. Let your growth speak louder than your words. You didn't come this far to be pulled back by guilt. You came to evolve, to elevate, to expand. And the people meant to walk with you won't be threatened by your boundaries. They'll rise with them. Because real connection doesn't fear your strength, it celebrates it. This is your time to choose wisely, to walk wisely, to protect your healing at all costs. The people you surround yourself with should reflect your worth, not drain it. If you find yourself constantly adjusting to make others comfortable while losing yourself in the process, it's time to reevaluate. You don't need to keep proving your value to anyone. You don't need to keep changing your boundaries or compromising your peace to gain acceptance. You've already earned the right to be yourself, unapologetically. There is no need to beg for respect, for love, for loyalty. Those who are meant for you will meet your standards without hesitation. They will align with your energy, not deplete it. And the more you raise your standards, the less willing you'll be to accept anything less than what you deserve. This is not about arrogance. It's about knowing that you are worthy of relationships that honor and uplift you, not ones that keep you in constant emotional turmoil. Every time you settle for less than you deserve, you send a message to yourself that you are not enough. But when you begin to draw that line and refuse to let toxic people cross it, you send a message that you know your value, that you are worthy of peace, of respect, of mutual love. And here's the truth. It's not selfish to choose to protect yourself. It's necessary. When you make that decision, you take your power back. You stop giving away pieces of yourself to people who have no intention of cherishing them. The more you choose yourself, the more you'll be amazed at the peace that begins to settle within you. You will realize that it is not the absence of people in your life that leaves a void. It is the presence of the wrong people that leaves you empty. Toxicity, manipulation, and dishonesty rob you of your energy and your light. But when you let go of those who no longer serve your growth, you make room for the ones who will. You make room for those who will push you to become better, who will show up for you in the way you show up for them. The relationships you allow into your life should be the ones that reflect your worth. And it's only by holding true to that worth that you can start building the life you deserve. Stop waiting for people to change. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Your healing begins now in this very moment by simply choosing to protect your peace. That's where the transformation starts. You will find that when you stop pouring yourself into toxic relationships, you have more energy to pour into yourself. The energy you once spent on worrying, on pleasing, on overexerting now flows back to you. And you'll begin to notice shifts in your mindset, your self-esteem, and your clarity. You will be able to see things clearly, free from the fog of emotional manipulation. You'll stop second-guessing your decisions and start trusting your inner guidance. You'll remember what it's like to feel centered, to feel strong, to feel in control of your own life. This is your right. You don't have to apologize for it. You don't have to shrink to make others feel better. You simply have to stay true to yourself. And when you do, you'll be amazed at the kind of life you create. One filled with real, authentic connections that help you grow, not ones that hold you back. You are not here to be a vessel for someone else's emotional baggage. You are here to live fully, to breathe freely, and to experience life on your terms. Every moment you spend trying to fix or manage someone else's chaos is a moment you steal from your own growth. When you allow toxic people to consume your energy, you allow them to dictate your emotional state, your peace, and even your happiness. But it's time to stop letting that happen. You are the author of your own life, and you decide who gets a seat at your table. When you stop accommodating toxicity, you begin to set the foundation for true freedom. Freedom from guilt, from unnecessary drama, and from the heavy burden of emotional manipulation. You deserve peace, clarity, and an energy that's yours to direct. And it's up to you to guard that fiercely. Toxic people want you to stay small, to doubt yourself, to feel indebted to their needs. They thrive on chaos. They feed off your emotions, and they want you to stay trapped in their world. But when you recognize their patterns, when you acknowledge that you have been giving your power away, something shifts within you. You stop seeing their behavior as something you need to tolerate. You see it for what it is, an attempt to control your life, to disrupt your peace. And in that moment, you reclaim your power. You don't need their approval. You don't need to make excuses for their behavior. All you need is the strength to say no, the courage to walk away, and the wisdom to protect your own energy. When you choose to protect your peace, you make space for the life you were meant to live. You open the door to possibilities that were once blocked by negativity. You begin to see opportunities that were always there but hidden behind the cloud of other people's toxicity. Choosing peace is not about avoiding challenges or conflict. It's about choosing to respond to life from a place of strength rather than from a place of reaction. When you stop letting toxic people control your emotional state, you begin to stand firm in your own truth. You stop seeking validation from those who have no interest in seeing you thrive, and you start creating a life where your needs, your values, and your happiness come first. This is not selfish. This is self-respect. It may feel uncomfortable at first. It may even feel unnatural to set boundaries, especially if you've been conditioned to believe that you need to please or fix others to be loved. But that discomfort is the feeling of transformation. It's the sign that you are stepping into your power, that you are shedding old patterns that no longer serve you. The discomfort is temporary, but the peace you gain from it will last a lifetime. You will start to feel lighter, more aligned with your true self, and you will finally realize that peace is not something you have to chase. It's something you choose. And once you make that choice, you become unstoppable. You stop asking for permission to live your life, and you start living it fully on your terms. You stop making space for negativity, and you make room for the people, the experiences, and the joy that truly belong in your life. The power to change your life begins with the power to change your environment. Toxicity isn't just about the behavior of others. It's about the energy you allow to surround you, and it shapes your reality more than you realize. When you allow negativity to thrive in your space, you invite it into your mind, your emotions, and ultimately, your life. The more you engage with it, the more it seeps into your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. You begin to question yourself, second-guess your worth, and lose sight of your own vision. But when you set clear boundaries and start protecting your space, you reclaim control over the energy you allow in. This isn't just about avoiding certain people. It's about recognizing when you are being affected by someone else's negativity and choosing to distance yourself from it. This act of self-preservation is not just a defensive move. It's an empowering decision to create a life that reflects your inner strength, your peace, and your aspirations. The people you allow into your life should be a reflection of your growth, not a distraction from it. When you step back from toxic individuals, you create room for relationships that nurture your soul, for experiences that uplift your spirit, and for a mindset that propels you forward. The energy you choose to keep close is the energy that shapes your path. And by choosing positivity, by choosing peace, by choosing people who celebrate your growth, you begin to create the environment where your dreams can take root and flourish. You are not responsible for the emotional well-being of others, especially if they are unwilling to do the work to heal themselves. Their chaos is theirs to manage. Your energy, your peace, your growth, they are yours to protect. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot give to others what you do not first give to yourself. Prioritizing your own well-being is not selfish. It is an act of wisdom. The more you nourish yourself, the more you can give to the world around you. But when you allow toxic people to drain you, you're left with nothing to give. You're left with an empty version of yourself, burned out, anxious, and overwhelmed. This is not the life you were meant to live. True freedom comes when you stop giving your emotional energy to those who take and start investing it in those who give. The relationships that uplift, support, and celebrate you are the ones that allow you to thrive. These are the relationships that will carry you through the tough times, encourage your success, and cheer you on every step of the way. They are not draining but energizing. They are not manipulative but nurturing. And as you align yourself with people who truly see you, who understand your worth and honor your boundaries, you will begin to witness an incredible shift in your life. You will feel lighter, more confident, and more aligned with your true purpose. The more you invest in relationships that add value to your life, the more you will see your own value reflected in the world around you. It's time to stop wasting your energy on people who don't appreciate it. It's time to start protecting your peace with the same dedication you put into everything else in your life. The moment you choose to let go of toxic relationships, you make space for everything you truly deserve. Your life becomes a reflection of your inner strength, your peace, and your power. And from that place, you will begin to build a future that's not only successful but fulfilling. When you start protecting your peace, you begin to step into a new reality, a reality where you are no longer at the mercy of others' emotions or actions. You no longer feel burdened by the weight of toxic dynamics. It's liberating, it's empowering. And the truth is, this power is already within you, waiting to be activated. The strength to take control of your life, your boundaries, and your well-being has always been yours. But you've been allowing other people to dictate your emotional landscape, to control your reactions, to influence your inner state. It's time to change that. The moment you decide to reclaim your peace, you change the way you interact with the world. Your energy shifts. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop getting caught in drama and manipulation, and you start setting clear boundaries that protect your heart, your mind, and your future. It's not about avoiding conflict, it's about confronting it in a way that is aligned with your values and your inner strength. You do not need to engage in negativity. You do not need to argue. You do not need to defend yourself against someone's criticism or manipulative behavior. When you take a stand for yourself, your actions become a declaration of self-respect. When you stop tolerating toxicity, you create space for your own growth. You allow yourself to rise, to evolve, to become the best version of yourself. And it's in this space, free from the chains of toxic relationships, that your dreams can take flight. No longer tethered to the negativity of others, you begin to soar toward your true potential. You feel lighter, more focused, more connected to your purpose. The energy that used to drain you now fuels your personal growth. The distractions fade away, and you begin to move forward with clarity and confidence. But the key here is consistency. You have to make the commitment to yourself every single day. Protecting your peace isn't a one-time decision, it's an ongoing practice. Every time a toxic person tries to disrupt your energy, you have the choice to stand firm. Every time you feel the pull of negativity, you can remind yourself that you are in control. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, protecting your peace becomes second nature. You no longer allow the toxic energy of others to penetrate your inner world. And as you continue to protect your peace, something amazing happens. You begin to attract the right people into your life. Those who uplift you, encourage you, and push you toward greatness. You begin to surround yourself with people who add value to your life, who share your vision, who support your dreams. And with this new circle of positivity, you begin to thrive in ways you never imagined. The world opens up to you, opportunities begin to flow, and success becomes inevitable. This is what happens when you reclaim your energy. This is the transformation that occurs when you refuse to allow toxic people to define your life. You create the space for your true potential to unfold, and from that space, there is no limit to what you can achieve. So commit to yourself today. Choose to protect your peace, to honor your boundaries, and to step into the future that you deserve. The world is waiting for you to show up, and when you do, it will never be the same again. The moment you begin to protect your peace, you start to realize something incredibly powerful. You are worthy of a life that reflects your true value. For too long, many of us have been conditioned to tolerate mistreatment, to accept less than we deserve, to shrink back in the face of toxic behavior. But when you start setting boundaries, when you draw the line and say, "This far, no further," you shift the entire energy of your life. You stop waiting for others to change. You take full responsibility for your own emotional landscape. It's an act of self-love, one that says, "She and I deserve respect, I deserve peace, and I will no longer settle for anything less." This is where true empowerment lies, not in waiting for the world to change around you, but in transforming your inner world so that you can rise above external chaos. The beauty of this shift is that it doesn't require anyone else to change. It doesn't depend on someone else's approval or validation. It is entirely within your control. You begin to create an environment for yourself that nurtures growth, self-respect, and fulfillment. And with this new foundation, you start to realize that toxic people no longer hold the power over your emotions. Their words, their actions, their negativity no longer define your worth or your peace. You start to operate from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You understand that you do not need to tolerate toxic behavior in order to keep the peace or to avoid confrontation. You can choose to walk away from situations that drain you. You can choose to protect your energy, knowing that by doing so, you are creating space for better opportunities, better relationships, and a more fulfilling life. Toxic people thrive on your fear and your need to please them. The more you give into their manipulation, the more control they have over you. But when you stand firm, you rob them of that power. You take it back, and in doing so, you reclaim the authority over your life. This newfound strength does not come from aggression or bitterness. It comes from a quiet, unshakable inner resolve to protect your peace at all costs. It comes from a deep understanding that you are the master of your emotional state, and no one else can take that from you without your consent. Every time you set a boundary, every time you choose not to engage with toxicity, you are reinforcing this inner power. With each small action, you are building a fortress of emotional resilience, one that cannot be shaken by the negativity of others. As you continue this journey of self-empowerment, you begin to attract people who respect your boundaries. You start to build relationships with those who uplift, encourage, and support you. You no longer settle for people who diminish your light or try to pull you into their emotional turmoil. Your life begins to reflect the respect you now give yourself. And the more you honor your peace, the more you realize that it's not just a right, but a necessity. Peace is not a luxury. It's the foundation upon which you will build the rest of your life. And once you fully embrace that, the world begins to open up to you in ways you never thought possible. You are not meant to be the emotional punching bag for anyone. The truth is, many people in life will try to bring you down, to make you feel small, to manipulate you into giving them power over your peace. It's a painful reality, but it's one that can be faced with strength and resilience. The key is to recognize when someone is draining you, when their words or actions are no longer a reflection of their character, but a reflection of their need to control, belittle, or disarm you. Understanding this shift in energy is crucial for your emotional survival. You have the right to stand tall in your truth, to assert your boundaries with confidence, and to protect your emotional well-being. You have the right to say, no more. This is not selfish. It is self-preservation. It is essential for your health, your mental clarity, and your happiness. Each time you allow someone toxic to violate your boundaries, you slowly chip away at your own sense of self-worth. But each time you stand up for yourself, you build it back stronger. Each time you reclaim your peace, you empower yourself to move forward in ways you never thought possible. The moment you begin to protect your emotional space, you'll notice the shift in energy around you. People may push back. They may attempt to guilt-trip you or manipulate you into giving them what they want. But you will no longer be swayed. You will no longer doubt your worth or question your right to peace. You will know that your value is not tied to anyone's opinion of you or how much they demand of your time and energy. Your worth is inherent, and it is up to you to protect it. In your relationships, whether personal, professional, or familial, remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you allow toxic individuals to drain you, there will be nothing left for the people who truly matter. There will be nothing left for you to give yourself. You are not obligated to make everyone else happy at the expense of your own peace and well-being. It's time to recognize that true strength comes not from pleasing others, but from knowing your limits and sticking to them. When you start enforcing your boundaries, you may find that some people react poorly. They may try to convince you that you're being unreasonable or that you're overreacting. But deep down, you'll know that this is not about being right. This is about protecting yourself. Toxic people often want you to feel guilty for standing up for yourself because they rely on your emotional dependency. They rely on you being the person who bends, who sacrifices, who carries the weight of their negativity. When you stop bending, you stop being their emotional crutch, and that's when you reclaim the power they've been taking from you. This transformation begins within. It starts the moment you decide that your peace matters. It continues every time you enforce your boundaries, every time you walk away from a toxic situation, every time you stand firm in your truth. As you protect your peace, you open the door for healthier, more supportive relationships to come into your life. You create space for people who respect you, for opportunities that align with your values, and for a future that reflects the strength and resilience you are building every single day. You are not here to be passive. You are not meant to simply drift along letting life happen to you. The power to shape your future is in your hands, and it starts the moment you decide to take control. It starts the moment you decide to stop waiting for others to change, to stop waiting for the perfect opportunity, and to stop waiting for life to hand you what you deserve. Your future is not a passive gift. It is an active creation, a masterpiece that only you can paint. Every action you take, no matter how small, is a step toward the life you want. Every decision you make, no matter how insignificant it may seem at the time, shapes the trajectory of your journey. You must understand this truth. Your life is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you respond to what happens. Your strength lies in your ability to act, to make choices that reflect your deepest values and your highest potential. You can no longer afford to let fear hold you back or to allow doubts to cloud your vision. You are capable of far more than you've given yourself credit for, and it's time to step into that power. When you begin to embrace your own potential, when you stop seeking permission to live fully, you unlock a force within you that can overcome any obstacle. The challenges that once seemed insurmountable are suddenly opportunities for growth. The roadblocks that once made you question your path become stepping stones toward something greater. You have the capacity to break through the barriers that are holding you back, whether they are external forces or internal limitations. But it requires commitment. It requires action. It requires that you no longer sit idly by while the world spins around you. To create the life you want, you must first create the mindset that aligns with your goals. You must let go of limiting beliefs, of the stories you've told yourself about what is possible. You must begin to see yourself as a creator, as a force that can move mountains with the right mindset and the right actions. Every day is a new opportunity to show up for yourself, to build the momentum that will propel you forward. It's not about waiting for a sign or a perfect moment. The moment is now. The time to act is always right in front of you. As you begin to take control, you will notice the changes. You will see how your life begins to shift in ways that feel almost magical. Opportunities will open up. People will begin to notice your energy and the way you carry yourself. Your confidence will grow because you are acting in alignment with your true purpose, and that purpose is a force that cannot be denied. The world responds to those who act with intention, and it is time for you to take your place in the driver's seat of your own life. This is your moment. This is the turning point. What you do now will define who you become. The question is, what will you choose? Will you choose to sit back and wait? Or will you choose to step into your power and create the life you've always dreamed of? The answer is within you. And that answer starts now. The moment you make the decision to stop waiting and start acting, you tap into a power so great that nothing can stop you. But with this power comes responsibility. It's easy to dream about success, to fantasize about achieving everything you've ever wanted. But the reality is, success demands sacrifice. It demands hard work, relentless effort, and an unwavering belief in yourself. You cannot expect to rise to the top without pushing through the struggles, without facing your fears head-on, without refusing to let setbacks define you. Success is not handed to you, it is earned every single day, with every choice you make. You have everything within you to turn your dreams into reality, but you must be willing to put in the work. The world does not owe you anything, and you owe it to yourself to show up, to put in the effort, and to keep pushing, even when things feel impossible. The journey is not always smooth, and there will be times when the road ahead seems too difficult to continue. But this is where the real growth happens. It is in these moments of discomfort, these moments when you feel like quitting, that you find your true strength. It is when you refuse to give up that you discover the depth of your resilience. You are stronger than you think, and your ability to overcome challenges is what will separate you from the rest. Every failure you face is not a reason to quit. It is an opportunity to learn. Every mistake is a stepping stone that brings you closer to the person you are becoming. When you fall, you don't stay down. You rise, you learn, and you keep moving forward. The path to success is paved with obstacles, but each obstacle is an opportunity to sharpen your skills, to grow in ways you never imagined. Your persistence will carry you further than any momentary success. It's the quiet, consistent effort that wins the battle, not the flashy moments of victory. The people who succeed are the ones who understand that failure is part of the process, not the end of the road. They don't shy away from challenges. They embrace them, knowing that each one is a chance to grow. Your success will not be defined by how many times you fall, but by how many times you stand back up. You are not defined by your setbacks, but by your ability to keep moving forward, no matter what. This is where you truly begin to see what you're made of. It's not in the easy wins, but in the battles you fought to get there. So, when it feels like the odds are stacked against you, when it feels like the world is telling you to give up, remember this: the ones who keep going are the ones who succeed. Keep moving, keep fighting, and keep pushing forward, because your greatest triumph is just on the other side of this challenge. Every step you take, every action you make is getting you closer to the version of yourself you were always meant to be. Stay committed. Stay strong. Your future is being built right now with every decision you make. When you finally embrace the idea that nothing is impossible, everything changes. It's in this moment of realization that you break free from the limitations you've imposed on yourself. All the doubts, the fears, the what-ifs vanish because you understand one truth: you are capable of far more than you've ever given yourself credit for. The only thing standing between you and your greatness is the decision to move forward, no matter what. You've spent too much time hesitating, too much time doubting your own potential, but now is the time to rise. The path you've always feared to walk is the one that holds the most rewards, and you will find that with each step you take, your strength multiplies. The most significant transformation begins when you stop holding yourself back. Stop waiting for the perfect time or the ideal conditions. The truth is, there is never a perfect moment to begin. There will always be obstacles, always be reasons to wait. But the moment you take action is the moment the world starts shifting in your favor. The key isn't in finding the perfect opportunity, it's in creating it. Every action you take, no matter how small, propels you toward your dreams. Every step you take is a commitment to your future, a statement that you will not be defined by your past, your mistakes, or your fears. The power lies in the decision to take that first step, even when you can't see the whole staircase. You don't need all the answers, you don't need everything figured out. You simply need to move forward, to trust that with each step, you're closer to your goal. It's easy to stand still and wait for the perfect moment, but the reality is, that moment will never come. Progress is made through persistence, through consistency, through relentless action. Your willingness to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is happening, will determine your success. The time you spend waiting could be the time you spend growing, learning, and becoming better than you were yesterday. You are your biggest ally, but also your biggest obstacle. The doubts, the fears, the insecurities, they all stem from your own mind. It's your mind that tells you to stop, to play it safe, to hold back, but deep inside you know better. You know that you are meant for more. You know that you are capable of greatness. The power to transform your life is within you, waiting for you to activate it. Stop listening to the voice that tells you to play small, the voice that tells you to settle for less. Instead, listen to the voice that urges you to rise, to step into your power, to go after everything you deserve. This is your time. The world is waiting for you to show up as your fullest self, to make the impact you were born to make. Don't let fear hold you back any longer. Don't let doubt steal your future. You've got everything you need to succeed right now. All it takes is your decision to take the next step. Believe in yourself, trust the process, and take action. Your success begins today, not tomorrow. You are more than capable of achieving everything you desire. And it all starts with the decision to act. You are stronger than any obstacle that stands in your way. The challenges you face are not signs that you should give up, but proof that you are on the right path. The more resistance you feel, the more you know you are growing. Every setback, every difficulty, is just the universe's way of testing your resolve. How badly do you want it? How deeply do you believe in yourself? These are the questions that will define your journey, and the answer lies in your determination to keep pushing forward. The strength you seek is already inside of you. It's been there all along, waiting for you to unlock it, to trust in your own power. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't need to have it all figured out. The truth is, perfection is an illusion. It's not about doing everything right from the start, it's about learning, adapting, and evolving as you go. Every mistake is an opportunity to grow. Every failure is a lesson that takes you one step closer to success. Stop measuring your worth by your mistakes or by the expectations others have set for you. Your journey is your own, and it's only by embracing the bumps along the way that you truly learn what you're capable of. Your potential is limitless, and the only thing standing between you and the life you desire is your willingness to keep moving forward, no matter how tough it gets. It's easy to look at others and wonder why they seem to have it all together, but what you don't see is the work, the struggles, the failures they've faced. They've had their own battles, their own moments of doubt and fear. What sets them apart is their refusal to give up. They didn't let their circumstances define them. They didn't let their mistakes keep them down. They kept pushing. They kept moving forward no matter what. And that is exactly what you must do. You are no different. You have the same power, the same resilience, the same ability to overcome anything that comes your way. When you start to believe in your ability to overcome, you unlock a new level of strength. It's in the moments when you feel like giving up that you are closest to your breakthrough. You are being tested to see how much you truly want what you desire. Every time you push through a moment of doubt, you become stronger. Every time you choose to rise instead of staying down, you grow into the person you need to be to achieve your goals. You are transforming right now, in this very moment, with every choice you make to keep going. The path to success is never easy. It's not supposed to be. If it were, everyone would be walking it. But you have something others don't. An unwavering belief that no matter how hard it gets, you will not stop. You will keep moving. You will keep fighting. You will keep growing. And when you finally reach the top, you'll look back and realize that it wasn't the destination that mattered most. It was the strength you gained on the journey, the lessons you learned, and the person you became along the way. You are capable of more than you know. The power to change, to grow, to become who you are meant to be has always been within you. It's easy to forget this when life gets hard, when the weight of the world feels too much to bear. But remember this, adversity is not your enemy. It is the very thing that reveals your true strength. Every moment of difficulty, every challenge you face is a test, but it is also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to show yourself just how far you can go, how much you can endure, and how deeply you can rise above it all. There will be times when doubt creeps in, times when the world seems against you and your efforts feel pointless. But those are the moments when you need to dig deeper than ever before. That's when your true power emerges. You don't grow when everything is easy, you grow when you're tested, when you're stretched beyond what you thought you could handle. Every setback, every obstacle, is a chance for you to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you ever imagined. You are capable of things that others may never even consider trying. That is your gift. You have the courage to keep going when it feels impossible. And that courage is what will carry you to places you never thought possible. Don't let fear control your actions. Don't let the uncertainty of the future keep you paralyzed in the present. Fear is just a signal that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's a sign that you are on the verge of something incredible. The people who succeed, who truly change their lives, are the ones who choose to move forward even when they're scared. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know exactly how everything will unfold. What you need is the belief that it's all worth it. The belief that you have what it takes to navigate the challenges ahead. And when you trust yourself, when you trust the process, the path will become clearer with every step you take. Remember, progress is not always linear. Some days will feel like a step backward, but that's not failure, that's growth. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you're becoming. Every decision you make, every action you take, is shaping the future that is waiting for you. Even when you don't see the results right away, trust that the work you're putting in is building a foundation for something greater. The effort is never wasted. Your perseverance is never in vain. Every bit of progress, no matter how slow, is bringing you closer to the life you deserve. You are not defined by the setbacks, the mistakes, or the times you've stumbled. You are defined by your ability to rise after every fall. It's the decision to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep moving forward that shapes who you are. And that decision, that's the most powerful thing you can do. Choose to be relentless. Choose to trust in your strength. You are capable of greatness, and every day you move closer to it.